Now let's assume that you are now ready to, you want to do an AI project. So what's the next step? What do you need to do? So first of all, I would encourage you to, you've heard me describe many of the popular models and what are the things that AI can do for businesses and how it actually help high-performing teams to be more competitive, right? So first of all, look into your own business, talk to your company. Bosses can talk to your different departments and start to look at business problems. Which are the business problems that look like the ones that I've just shown you? And then the next very important question that you ask yourself is, do you have relevant data? That's very important because everything that I've said just now will not be possible if there's no data, because AI requires data. Data is food for AI. We need to feed data into a learning model in order for it to perform. So then the question is, not only must you have data, do you have it in digitized form? Meaning that is it in a format that the machine, the computer can read in conveniently. So if you don't, then again, that is a barrier. It's not impossible, there's a barrier. I will show you later what are the programs that we AI Singapore have that can help you to resolve some of these problems. So once you have that, then I would encourage you to look at building a small team, a cross-functional team with a project owner, with a tech leader, and some domain stakeholders to define the problem. Define the problem. Having a company leadership buy-in is very, very important. And then if you have in-house capability, you will be able to do it in-house. And if you don't have in-house capability and you need help, come to us. We are here to help you. We will be able to either help you do the projects. Later, I'll show you what are the programs that we have available. Again, don't get me wrong, I'm not selling here because we are not a commercially oriented company, but rather a government-funded organization to try to help you to get started, to get your feet wet, right? And then once you are able to do that, then you will be able to start small. It's very important that you start small. Don't bet your farm in your first AI project. Start small, start with something that is being tested and validated, like those models that I've described to you just now. With those, you will have a lower risk in your first project. Once you have accumulated experience and accumulated wins, then you can start to embark on bigger projects. So just now we talked about data readiness, very, very important. You must have them. In a sales and marketing environment, we will start with customer profile data that we have just talked about, transaction data, usually that resides in your POS system or in your ERP or in your CRM. Those are the transaction data that you need. And also marketing campaign history, make sure that your marketers will record down all the campaigns that they have. Those will be valuable resources to help you do your AI project. So there's a lot of common data issues, like not only must you have data, you must also have labeling. What do you mean by labeling? In AI projects, if you are doing supervised learning, we would need labels, meaning that, like just now, churn, no churn, you must have all your customers in the past who has churned and who has not churned. I think that is easy because that can be calculated. But in many scenarios, you do need to have data, labels for the data, so that the machine learning model can learn from them. If you don't have, again, later I'll talk about a program that we have that can help you do labeling. A lot of other data issues is like missing data, wrong data, inconsistent data, data in different formats. Like, okay, is your data digitized? Yes, but if it is in PDF, then machine cannot really read it directly. It needs to be converted. Do you have like highly skewed distribution? That one we can tell you what it is if you need help. And then so on and so forth. There's a lot of data issues in machine learning. So let me now move over to talk about how do you engage AI Singapore and what kind of programs do we have to help you with all these issues so that you can take your first step in AI. So we take a company on the left who is interested in AI. On the right is his first AI project. So we go through the process of educate, explore, discover, prepare, right? So education, we do have public education seminars and stuff like that. AI for everyone, AI for industry. These are either free or highly subsidized for Singaporean. Go onto our website, you will be able to sign up to that. Make sure that you do that. If you have not been to any of them, it will increase your AI knowledge significantly. Now, once you have already done that, then we get into the explore, which hopefully originally the AI clinic that we were thinking of is based on a face-to-face interaction with about 10 odd companies in a session. After you have heard us today, if you are interested to do this, you can write to us. If we have enough people from a same industry who are interested to explore further or have specific questions related to their industry that you would like to explore with us, we would like to organize a session with you. So the session will not be like today. Today is more like a webinar where I'm presenting to you. But in an AI clinic, we will break into specific small groups and do discussions. This will be better done in a face-to-face environment. Hopefully, COVID will be over soon. After COVID is over and the circuit breaker is lifted, we can do face-to-face again. If not, then we can also use Zoom to do breakouts. After that, some companies will still need help, and very specific help, confidential help related to data and stuff like that. We are also doing providing consulting services to those companies. We call it AI discovery, and this is one-to-one. In AI clinic is many companies in one session. AI discovery is one-to-one under NDA, so that we are able to ask for data, look at a company's data, and do a preliminary assessment before we go into a face-to-face session. And once we have go to a face-to-face session, we'll be able to help the company explore the business problems that they have and which are the ones that are resolvable by AI, which are not. And then the outcome of this is a consultancy report where we'll tell you, yes, you're ready for AI. These are the suggested steps, or you have a business problem to solve, but you don't really have a data set to support it. So the recommended next step is something we call data readiness program, which again, we will have internal people. We have internal people that will help you do data labeling, data transformation, data cleansing, and data workflow preparation, all this at a very minimal cost. Like again, AI Singapore is not a commercial company. However, what we will do, we will try to help Singapore-based companies as much as we can. Sometimes things can be totally free, but sometimes we will need to do cost recovery. Therefore, even if it is chargeable, it will be on a cost recovery basis. So therefore, you can see that we are helping companies step by step throughout this AI adoption journey, because our mission is to get as many Singaporean companies, Singapore-based companies, again, even if you are a multinational company, but as long as you have local presence, and we do ask for technical presence, because we want to help you train up your staff to be able to do it locally in Singapore, so that AI become common, become highly adopted within the Singapore environment. So let me now, okay, at the end of this, you can do an AI project. Now, some of the AI project can be scoped as what we call 100 experiments. This is our flagship program. This flagship program is, we will fund one-to-one. The support is up to $250,000 per company. And then it is very specific to to projects that can be done around a 9 to 18 months kind of period, right? So this is, and then we will help you build a minimal viable product within this period. And then we will deploy 2 to 4 AI engineers. Now, these AI engineers, we'll talk about it in the next slide. It is called the AI Apprentice Program. Now, so what you will get as is a subsidy that is 1-for-1, and what you need to come up with is 30% cash and 70% in kind. 70% in kind means your technical resource, means people that you put in place as a project team to work with us to make this project feasible. So that is the in kind part, and then the 30% will be the cash component. In terms of the AI engineers, this is the apprentice program. It is a 9-month program. It is meant for Singaporeans only. This is not a training program, but rather a deep skilling program, meaning that these people, this apprentice, when they come into the program, they already know how to code. They don't know how to build machine learning models. What they don't have is experience building and deploying real life AI projects. So the objective is to train these people and give them exposure to real life projects, and then return back to the industry to contribute to the Singapore AI landscape. So these people, the apprentice must first quit from their job. It is not like a joint industry program, but rather they must quit from the job, join the program for 9 months full time. They will be paid a monthly stipend, but before they can join, they will have to pass the AIAP entrance exam. So a lot of these details, you can go to the website to understand it. So these apprentices will then be deployed to work on the 100 experiment, the 100E projects that I've just talked about. So these 100E projects will then we will be able to help you build your first AI product that way. However, for this 100E projects, the duration has to be a 7 months project. It cannot be too long, cannot be too short, right? So there are other projects that are less than 7 months. What do we do about it? You can still come back to us. We will have a different program. It's called an advisory program, which we will be able to undertake it. However, the program details are different. So if you have needs like that, do come back to us. Later at the end of this presentation, I'll give you an email address where you can write to us. We'll be able to respond to you. Now, let me show you another thing, right? It's one thing to do everything from scratch, but then there is also to make it even more efficient, we introduce a concept called bricks. Bricks are just reusable AI components. They are like libraries, which you can reuse. What I've shown you here are 4 of our bricks. These bricks are in our website. You can go to this URL. You'll be able to look into all this. However, in order to make use of this libraries, you will need to know how to code. Many of these what you call libraries or open source, so you can just download and use on your own, no charge. But if you do need help from us, you can still write back to us. We can help you. You will have access directly to the engineers who created the libraries. Right, one of them, like the speech lab that I've shown you here, this one would requires a license. However, now this is what we call AI technology bricks, because it requires you to be able to do coding. You must be able to do API calls and stuff like that. If you don't have that kind of technical skills, we have another type of bricks. It's called AI ready bricks. These are plug and play bricks. These are ready recipes, like ready to eat kind of meals, put into the microwave oven and you can cook it, kind of thing. So no coding is required. It's plug and play. It is built on top of Microsoft Azure today. So if you again go to this web link, AI Ready Bricks. We have 6 here. We intend to build a lot more. What you can see here are very common sales and marketing recipes, like demand forecast, like product recommender system that I've just talked about in my use case, customer segmentation, again, our use case, credit prediction, risk classification, and churn prediction, So let me go further to tell you what are these. If you go to this website, you see this 6 blocks. You click into each one of them, you will get into a page that looks like this. Like, for example, this one is demand forecast. You will be able to see what it is for, what kind of data set. You can follow them, and then you can click into this Open in Studio. This is Microsoft Azure Studio. We work very closely with Microsoft. So if you're familiar with Studio, then you will know that this is a very easy to use platform. I'll show you in a moment. In addition to, and then if you scroll down further, you will be able to see that what you can learn from here. And also, more importantly, tutorials. These are video tutorials. You click into each one of them. It will walk you through step by step. How do you build a machine learning model and then deploy it in the Azure platform, in the Azure cloud, as well as how do you consume it using Excel. What I mean by that is, once you build that machine learning model, you will be able to do inputs using just Excel. Put in the inputs in Excel, it will come up with the prediction. Like if you want to predict churn for each customer, you would have the customer information in an Excel. Click a button, the Excel data will then get into the Azure machine learning model, and then you will spit out the churn prediction. It's that simple. So the Azure Machine Learning Studio looks like this. Again, you see, this is the entire demand forecast. No codes, nothing. It is pulling this kind of what we call modules into the studio. Start by ingesting the data, going through the data, split the data, put in the model, train the model, score the model, evaluate the model, and then deploy it. Go through the what do you call it, tutorial that I've just shown you just now. You will be able to create this pretty simply. Now, why do we want to do this? What we are hoping to help customers who are not very familiar with coding to be able to do their first AI project using Azure machine learning model. So you will be able to do fast prototyping, throw in your own data set and see how it performs. And if you are able to generate accurate results, fantastic. But if you are not, then don't worry. Again, come back to us. We are here to help you. We can help you tweak the model, or we can help you build the model. So these are some of the stuff that we are offering to Singapore companies. So this comes to the my last slide. I just want to leave these key takeaways from you. Hopefully what I've shown you today is that really AI is not just a fad that's gonna go away after a while. AI can actually help you increase sales and improve your profitability, especially after this COVID-19 epidemic. Many companies will need to rebuild their business. So hopefully what I've shown you is some ideas of what you can do to do things differently. And also AI can make predictions to help you do a lot of things, like know your customers better, proactively prevent certain or take proactive or preventive actions, as well as optimize your company's performance. I think those are very, very important. So AI is truly transformative in my opinion, and it is disrupting many industries. So I think it is important, it's crucial for Singapore companies to take that first step. And the reason we are doing this kind of AI clinic is to help Singaporean companies to take that first step. So, and again, let me emphasize that data is the most important prerequisite of AI. If you don't have it, then nothing is possible. And the last but not least is AI Singapore is here to help you. I've shown you many programs that we have, many tools that you can embark on. You can just try it out, right? So let me say that we given this COVID-19 situation, there are a lot of things that we want to do, but we will also need your help to let us know what kind of situations, what kind of issues that you're facing, so that we know better how to help you. So therefore, what you are seeing here is at the bottom here, you see a email address, and this email address is what you can write to us. This email address will directly go to all the members of the advisory group, me included, and Tempo. So we will be able to reach back out to you when you need help. And also there is a QR code here, and also a URL for you to download today's slides. Last but not least, please help us do this clinic feedback. All right, and that's all I have for today. So hopefully we will have an opportunity to see you again in future sessions. All right, let me hand it back to you, Tempo. Is there any other questions?
Sure. No, I've answered all the questions in the chat already. So just to take note, right, in the survey, after you are done, right, make sure you click on the bottom right. There's a button on bottom right. There's a button for you to submit answer. Okay, so make sure you click that before you close the window. So that's very important. Otherwise, the survey website won't be able to capture your input, right?
Yeah, inside the survey, there's one question that asks you for the future clinics. What are the topics that you'll be interested in? Please make sure that you put that in. So that will help us organize the content for the next clinic.
Yeah, so if you're asking for the links to be pasted in the chat, right? Hang on, let me do it for you here right now. So I'll be pasting the link in the chat. So here is it. You can download the slides on this. There's a question on, is there an online forum community for AI Singapore? The answer is yes, there is. We'll just Google for AI Singapore. There's this microsite called the AI Makerspace. So AI Makerspace, under there's this thing called the Share AI. So Share AI is our own forum for people to post questions, and we, the moderator that are here, will answer the questions if there's any. Okay. So Kevin and I will be staying online for a bit. So any of you who have any questions, please feel free to type in the chat. At the same time, I will also allow participants to unmute themselves. Right? So meaning, if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself if you want to have a chat. Will be online as well. Okay, so I have enabled the permission for you to unmute yourself. So if you have any questions, if you're shy, you can type in the chat, or you can unmute yourself to have a discussion with us. It can be anything from the use cases that Kevin has presented on to maybe how we can work with AI Singapore if you're interested, or just to find out more about our programs. So for those of you who are interested in learning AI, we have this AI apprenticeship program. So that's where we get people who are like full-time working professionals down to AI Singapore for 9 months. So we pay them stipends every month, and we pair them up to work on company projects to learn AI. So that could be something to explore if you're interested in AI.
There's also AI for industry. Basically, that is a program where for people who don't want to quit their job, but they still want to learn some AI, you can sign on to the AI for industry, AI for I. Go to our website. For that one, you don't have to quit your job. However, you will be, as long as you're Singaporean, it will be highly subsidized.
Okay, so that's a question. Will there be a seminar on AI application or supply chain ops management side? Yes. Sales and marketing will be the first of many we should be doing. So over time, we'll build up more team-based AI clinic. So it could be industry-based, such as insurance, or function-based, which is like today, marketing and sales. So we'll be building up more materials over time. So stay tuned. We will actively publicize our upcoming workshops on Eventbrite on our AI Singapore website. So
Yeah,
hopefully the supply chain part will come in soon.
Right, please enter that in the survey question. There is one survey question where you can type in, it's a free text box, type that in. We will be able to capture that request.
Yeah. So, okay, there's one question from Sui Chi. What AI cannot be used or applied to? So, so the question is very broad, right? So let me answer it in a more intuitive manner. If a human is able to look at the data and make a prediction out of the data, then most likely, yes, AI can be used for it. But if you ask a human to look at the data, but the human is not able to make any prediction out of the data, then probably AI can't do it as well. So the way my answer to the question is, right, it depends on the type of data and information you have on hand, and what is the intended use cases you have for the AI. So if there's a very close match of the data that you have and the objective of what you're trying to do, then most likely the answer is yes, AI can do. So other than the NLP or the speech to text that Kevin talked about earlier, AI also can do things like computer visions, right? Like to identify whether the image is a cat or a dog. It can even used to be identified, like for example, self-driving car, right? Like the environment around it. So AI practically can be used in most use cases that you can think of, as long as you have the right data in place and the problem is well defined. Okay, the next question is, I can see that data cleaning and collection is a bulk of the work, especially if we don't have data digitalized. Is this a very common problem? Yes, you're right. This is a very, very common problem because in the past, or even now, a lot of companies are not aware of the value of data, right? So a lot of time, the data are still in hard copy, right? Like you know, sign a form, and the form is kept in a folder. So if the information is not digitalized and stored in a database, right, then there's no way for the AI to learn from the data and make predictions out of it, right? So that's why so this is what we realize as well when we talk to the industry, and that's why in the entire roadmap that Kevin shared earlier, right, we included the data preparation kind of service in AI Singapore, because this is one of the bottlenecks that we face for most companies who wish to embark on AI, right? They have the data, but the data is either A, not in the right format, meaning it's in hard copy, or B, data is dirty because there's a lot of outliers, typos, all sorts of problems with the data. So if these two are not solved, right, it is not possible to train AI at all. And that's why we have this service to help companies to remove this obstacle for them so that they can embark on their AI journey. So if you have any ideas in mind that you want to use AI on in your company, but your company has some data issues, right? Be it not in the data warehouse or not in the right format, let us know. We can definitely explore how we can help you get started in AI. If the data is in Excel, is that good enough? Yes. If the data is really in Microsoft Excel, that's fantastic. Then at least it's one problem solved. The next question is, we have to look at the type of data stored in the Excel. Are they in the right format? are there any typos, especially if there's a lot of free text columns, right? So usually in the free text columns, then you have it's a whole new dimensions altogether once you have free text columns. Now, so for this, you have to look at the type of data in the Microsoft Excel in order for us to advise you. Hey, anyone else has any questions? Please feel free to make use of our time. Is AI equal to ML or ML part of AI? Okay, so this is where I'm going to go very big. Okay, so imagine AI is a whole universe. Okay, so AI is basically anything that is smart enough, right, to replicate the cognitive ability of human, right? So if you think of it, right, actually rule-based system is also can be AI as well. So imagine you write 1,000 lines of rule-based, right? If, for example, if the sun is up and if people are walking around, means it's morning. So if the sun is down, people are not walking around, means it's evening, things like that. So rule-based itself can be AI as well. So AI is the entire universe. So under AI, you have machine learning or the ML. So machine learning is a subset of AI. So machine learning is an approach to do AI. So machine learning, you talk about a statistical approach, right? Things like decision trees. So these are ways to do AI. So if I go even deeper, right, there's a deep learning. So deep learning is a subset of machine learning. So why is deep learning a whole category by itself? This is because deep learnings, they use this thing called neural networks, right? They try to replicate how our brain works, right? The nerve cells. So deep learning is an approach to do AI as well. So you have AI, then you have machine learning, then you have deep learning. So deep learning is the most fanciful way of doing AI nowadays. That's why a lot of times when you read articles, usually they relate AI equal to neural networks or deep learning. So a lot of the advances in AI, such as self-driving car, speech-to-text, image recognition, they are all using deep learning approach, right? They are not using ML per se, they are using deep learning, if you want to be very, very specific. Okay, we have 2 more minutes until 5 o'clock. Please feel free to make use of our time. We're here to help you to accelerate your learnings in AI, right? Hopefully, by the end of the day, you'll be interested in learning AI and can come to our website to sign up for our courses or just to get started in learning AI. Definitely, AI will be here to stay with us. If you know AI versus your colleagues who don't, imagine your career path will be accelerated tremendously compared to your colleagues. So that's why AI can be a very powerful tool to accelerate everything. It could be your career path, it could be the way you analyze data, and it could be the way you get things done. Okay, I don't think there's any questions from anyone else. So Kevin, anything else to add, or we can end to this session?
Oh, thank you very much once again for everyone for your participation. Hopefully this will not be this will be the first of our engagement. In the future, we will have a lot more different topics that we'll be talking about. Hopefully you will join us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.